What's up, everyone? We are back with another Our Perspectives episode, and this is the show where myself, Holden, Stephan, and Littyyy bro Flacko, we go through our perspectives and talk about the different topics and things of interest we found over the course of the week. You might see a couple movie trailer recommendations, you might get some jokes and funny anecdotes, and you're definitely gonna get some updates on all the topics that you see below in the title of this video. So we're gonna go through it. It's gonna be a couple hours of some good fun. And yeah, to get started, we like to share what happened over the course of our weekends as Flacko goes ahead and promotes the episode across the different platforms. I'll get started. Since I started a blog, this time I reviewed what I did because I wrote about it because I've been forgetting my life lately. That's what happens when you out a bunch. And last weekend I went to a couple of events. After the episode on Friday, I went over to some party where the little ones were just kind of throwing a little vibe at the local bar Blue Dog, which is a central hub for a lot of the hip hop scene because they're super hip hop friendly and they don't charge out the ass to let us use the place. So I went over there, discovered that they have a better drink deal situation than I'd ever seen before with these nice Long Island iced teas, and I decided I really like these Long Island iced teas, and they're dangerously sneaky drinks. And then next day, went to this cool event that mixed comedy and rap at this nice venue that had like a theater kind of vibe to it, which was cool. And
A
then
what kind of
like a
what?
theater.
Theater? You
I don't
said
know.
theater.
I do. Sometimes it comes out like that. Like I know it's
The
theater,
fuck
but
was
like
that?
just sometimes there's words you don't say a lot, and then it just comes out wrong, and you're like, "Fuck." Happens.
Theater though.
Like this,
Shit.
it's like the way it's spelled. Like I know it's theater. But anyway, um, I like the vibe of the spot. Then I went back to that next place because they're having a dance party, and like as much as hip hop shows, you try and get people out there. Dance parties are just so much more fun. Like at the end of the day, everyone just looks like they're having a blast at a dance party. You got like two DJs just cycling, and when the DJs are good, of which DJ Blaster and Daddy Mesa are both very good DJs, blending reggae and hip hop, making it like a vibe. Women pull up for these things. It was fun. I think like it was one of those nights where when lights turned on at the end of the night, like I was like, "Oh, say word, it's already over." Like it just flew. It was great. And then yeah, Sunday was a little calmer, and then the week went on, and it turned into chores and getting ready to go to New York City next week because we coming down on Sunday to be. And I know it's a little spoilers, but that's part of what we did this week was the preparations. You know, you got to make that travel checklist and come up with all the stuff because if you try to do that last minute, you'd be forgetful. And what do I need off of Amazon that I don't have? And yeah, so it was a good week. My business cards came in because now I got business cards, which is dope. And yeah, I had a really good week. Like it was one of those ones where like the sun came out and like my mood got better.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't know. How was your week? Yo, what's up, Lindell? I just saw you in the chat. I was too busy talking and I got into it for a
All
second
good.
there. But yeah,
How was my weekend? Shit, man. I really can't remember my weekend last weekend. Oh,
it'd be like that though when you're like busy. You just like, oh yeah, I did do things.
uh, man, I don't know.
Fair. Did you party?
I think I did. I must have. I must have partied.
It was good enough that you have no memory of the night.
Right. I don't know
Fair
what to
enough.
say. I really feel like I'm like, whoa, is dementia setting in? What's going on with me?
Not dead
It's
ass. I
crazy.
right before the stream, I was sitting there like, what the fuck did I do last weekend? I know I did things, and I had to go look at
You
my
know what it
blog
is that
articles to like remember it.
I'm so caught up right now with preparing for next week and getting ready for today right before that I just can't remember. Shouts to those memories. Word.
You're gonna
They were
like
good
three
ones.
hours
They must have
later.
been good ones.
3 hours later, you're
I
gonna be like, oh
know.
yeah.
I know. Last weekend we promoted the AAB Perspectives Experience that we dropped, which is the music from the interview put in a playlist format with the interview at the end of the playlist. So you get to know AAB through all the music that we talked about influencing his life in the interview, and some other songs that he talked to us behind the scenes that influenced him. He gave us like a list of songs that like really influenced him, mixed all that together, made a really fire playlist, and then at the end of the playlist is his interview, and it's a really good playlist. So we dropped that, and we dropped the links for that, and then I
Oh, we
know for
also
sure. I know for sure that I watched Battle Rap last weekend, and because it looks like I'm just getting us started, right? Like that's what it looks like what I'm
I was
doing.
gonna do one more
So
plug. We also started posting clips from the show, so follow us at Perspectives Pod on Instagram. Because we smoke weed, we can't put them on TikTok, but you can watch them on Instagram, and they fire. Actually, I'm really proud of like how they're coming out as little clip formats. So, on to the battle rap.
right. Right. So last weekend was a huge battle rap event for RBE. Um, they had Bigg K battling Murda Mook. Um, it lived up to the hype, man. People were really like, there was. I mean, I tell you this: the truth is that there are fanatical fans on both ends that are like 3-0 Murda Mook, 3-0 Bigg K, and I just disagree. I feel like it was a more of a like evenly matched fight, and yeah, it could go 2-1 either direction in my opinion. Bigg K uh, came out usual Bigg K fire. Murda Mook did better than I think people expected him to do. He still had some like bars that were like cringe, but like he's also Murda Mook, so it's like he can get through that type of material way better than anybody else. There's a reason that he had a whole scheme about like uh what did I get for like because he gets paid a lot. Like, listen, when he came back to battle Iron Solomon about almost 10 years ago now at this point, um, he was getting paid $50,000 to show up for that one battle, and people were like, "What? That's too much. You can't ask for that much," because back then guys were barely getting paid like $500 to show up to a battle event, or a couple thousand at max. So him asking for $50,000 to battle Iron Solomon was like, what? And then he came back after Iron Solomon. He was like, all right, I'll battle again for $100,000. And people were like, what? You can't double the number. And he was like, yes, I can. And I can get it. And he got it. And then he like doubled that number into 200,000. And, he's just keeping on going. And in this battle, he like made the mention of like, what I get paid for this battle. And he was like, what you pay for a house, like, and then he had like a whole scheme about like, it was like house bars, like cooking him on the grill and just other house related bars. It was really good. Um, they both
That
just really
no,
did
but
really good.
what you just said is interesting, right? Because like you need somebody to ask for more, for lack of a better term, and until like somebody does, there's a glass ceiling, and then somebody just asks for what is perceived as impossible, right? Maybe I just because I'm reading this Tony Robbins book and he got me thinking about taking the world and all that shit. But like that just sounds like what Mook did. He like said, okay, I can get this. If you want it, this is what it costs. And it turns out the world wanted it enough to keep paying it. But then that has the residual effect where, like, when you see somebody pop off, you now know you can pop off. So now everyone else is going to get paid more, big picture. So it's like, it's a cool history thing that, I don't know if everyone's aware of that.
Yeah, no, man. Listen, I'm super in Mook's favor of like that type of mentality and like that type of like attitude to bring to entertainment and art. Period. It all seems crazy, and I mean sports, all sorts of right. Because like every generation, there's a new athlete that comes out and gets paid the most money and gets an obscene contract. And it's an obscene contract until a new athlete comes around and gets an obscene contract. And it's just like it's really just like paving the way for the next generation to be able to afford themselves a better life and to get
Right.
paid what they're actually worth. 9 times out of 10, a lot of these outlets are making more than enough to cover that, or else it wouldn't be possible for him to get it. So, yeah. On
Or
the
at the
flip
very
side,
least, the
on the
ROI
flip
on the
side,
event
that does
justifies
not
it.
mean that everybody's gonna command that price. And so, like, you know, listen, I feel like everybody in the world should ask for whatever they want, but be ready for like a bunch of no's too.
He probably got a lot of no's before he got that yes. I don't think it was the first time he asked for 50K he got it. He probably just said, "This the price. When you're ready, come holla." And when people were ready, they came. And
Yeah.
arguably, he did whatever he needed to do to ensure that that happened. And you gotta play the game if you want those kind of monies. Like there's rules, etc.
Yeah.
And nah, so I'm glad the battle was. I did have one more question on the battle thing before we moved on. Is it better than just because you watch a lot more of this or and you're more tapped into the culture? Do people like it more when it's a 3-0 sweep or like when it's a big debate 2-1? Like which of these is the
I mean, it's
better
debatable and it
situation?
changes per person. I think that for the most part, people. I mean, listen, it's one of those things where like it's a preference thing, and I think it's a case by case study. But for the most part, 2-1 either way is essentially a debatable battle that you could say somebody won in either direction, and that
Mm.
means that both people put up a hell of a show versus a 3-0 battle where it's clear that one person put on a hell of a show and the other person clearly did not put on a hell of a show. And so it's one of those things where, like, I guess it just depends. Sometimes, I for the most part prefer 2-1s because it's a debatable battle and it's a fight and it's a good fight. I look at it like boxing. I rather see two guys like fight it out for 12 whole rounds and I can't tell who won and it's debatable the whole way than to just see somebody just get knocked out. But at the same time, I love watching people get knocked out. What are you talking about? Like, I love seeing people get their ass kicked. So, like, yeah, 3-0 also, like, sometimes there's some people that is just like, yo, you know what? I don't like that guy, and I want to see him get fucking 3-0'd and bodied. And then they do. And it's like, ooh, this is as good as I thought it was going to be. Jesus Christ. So, depending.
Fair enough.
The next topic was Lady J
I'm
had
not playing the
like
clip.
out of the whole weekend. There were other big battles like Rosenberg Raw battled Charlie Clips. Swave Seba had a battle with essentially a nobody. Um, Shouts out to Remedy Doko, whoever the fuck that guy is. Um, he's from New York. He'd fuck around and end up seeing me somewhere and be like, and I'm just gonna be like, who the fuck are you, bro? Remedy Loco, you don't remember talking shit about me? Be like, no, see? This is why. This is why you shouldn't have been battling Sway. You clearly do not deserve that name. There were other battles. I forgot. Oh, Ill Will versus Loso. Loso used to be signed to Bad Boy Records. He used to be in the music industry. He is so fucking mediocre, yo. He is so trash. He is
Fuck.
Kendrick Lamar light. He is Kendrick, or as I call him, he's Kendrick Lane Murr. He's just so cringe and trash. I don't want to interview him. Like FYI, because like somebody told me that, like Sarah Connor, right? My sister, she checks me on all sorts of things. And she was like, I had made a post earlier in the week about like Av, and Av made an announcement about retiring. And I was like, who the fuck cares that you're retiring? just go away, go die in peace, you know? She was like, oh, like she's got like a friendship with him. And she was like, we were talking about people to interview. She was like, oh, you could have interviewed Av if you wouldn't have made the post that you made. I don't give a fuck about interviewing some people, man. You know, at the end of the day, listen, if they give a fuck enough to have us do what we do, which is really give a voice to their life, not just the typical shit that all other outlets do, then they should want to come on our outlet. And if they do come on our outlet, I'm never going to let my disdain for their talent or lack thereof um,
Bro, everybody's a
influence
good
how
rapper when I
good the
talk to
actual
them.
interview will be. You
Like
know?
everybody's a good rapper when I talk to them. Like my preferences are not the same as you're on my show. This is your moment. Like
There's your moment.
even
I
if you
don't,
got 3 songs on SoundCloud and that's your whole career, if you end up on the show, like nah, but you're here. You're still a hero in your own way and all that shit.
yeah,
Personal
exactly.
lives aside.
We wanted to interview you, or else we wouldn't be interviewing you, and so therefore, like, it's one of those things where, like, for surely, um, I'm just noticing your Gmail profile picture because
Oh,
I'm looking at the prospective topics sheet that we share, and I can see that you're on it. Anyway,
oh,
point being, yeah, I don't really give a fuck about Loso. I don't want to interview. Like, I don't want to interview him. I dislike him so much that, like, I don't want to interview him. I hope that he dislikes me so much that he tries to drive a wedge between us and he asks you to interview him privately on the side without us together. And I hope you do interview him. Go interview him. Because guess what? I don't want to fucking interview that
okay.
motherfucker. He could take his Bad Boy Records contract, which I usually would respect highly because it's one of the record labels that I love my entire life. He could take that shit, crumple it up, swallow it, shit it out, take that shit, put it in his hand, eat that shit. Because I don't want to interview him. Fuck him. That's how trash I think he is. Point being, all these other big names, this guy had a record deal at one point, all right? And let me tell you something, nobody else walked away from last weekend of battle rap with a bigger moment after Murda Mook and Bigg K than Lady J. Holden, there's a link
I can't
there.
play the
I hope
clip.
you
I
got the
watched
link
the
ready
clip.
to
I can't
go.
play the clip. I can't play the clip.
What?
There's rules on the content of boobs being flashed on screen for live everywhere.
Yeah,
You
but it's
can't.
in the blue room. You can't even see her
No,
actual
you can see
boobs.
well enough. I checked the clip beforehand. I said this is something I'm gonna audit. I can't put that
All
one
right.
on.
Well, Lady J flashed her boobs in a battle. It was an epic moment. The first time that a woman has ever flashed their boobs in a
We'll put the
battle.
Twitter link below in the description for y'all to check it out, though.
We'll put the Twitter link in the description. Anyway, yo, listen, I heard she was getting bodied. People said she got 3-0'd. In my opinion, it doesn't really fucking matter if she got 3-0'd because I don't know the name of the person that 3-0'd her. I know her name. I know Lady J's name. And it's not because like I'm some skeevy weirdo who's like looking at her boobs all weekend. I just admire it because it's a well, I mean, to be fair, she does have some nice boobs. You know what I mean? Like I am
They're
a
pretty
man.
nice.
I'm a straight man. She's a very attractive young lady. She has beautiful boobs. So like I don't want to also take away from the boobs and act downplay the boobs like they don't deserve no respect, right? But I'm also not a creepy old man that was like sitting there with the fucking boobs over and over on repeat and shit, or jacking off to the boobs. That was definitely not happening. You know what I mean? But what I will say is that I respect the fuck out of it. You know what I mean? Like I'm big on marketing. Marketing is more important. Sometimes rappers get so caught up with wanting to impress me and other people with their talent of rapping. And it's like, you know what? At this point in rap's 50-year history, so many people have rapped so excellently. For you to really grab my attention just rapping very well, you better have all the things ticked off. And 9 times out of 10, 9.8 times out of 10, nobody. No, No artist has all the things all sewn up. And and from there it becomes a preference thing. So like to me, more impressive than that is the rappers that have a talent but also have a genius marketing sense. And for her to be the first woman in all these years that battle rap has been popping to pull out her boobs and like, yo, she stole the moment. She suck the air out of like her defeat if she was defeated. Because I don't know, I didn't tune into the battle. I don't even
Well,
care about
even
the other
in the
person.
clip, right? She's doing this while her opponent's rapping at her. So she pulls it out. The entire room shuts the shit down mid bar. You can see the other woman is exasperated, like, yo, y'all are fucking with this for
There
real?
were a lot of women. There were a lot of women in my timeline pretty upset. A lot of women were like of the mindset of like, oh, is this what it's come to? Is this what you got to do? And I'm just like, no, it's not. Nobody said like this is one person. This does not have to become a trend. If it becomes a trend, it's because people are bandwagon jumpers. You can't try, you can be number two to do this and do it even better. But the truth is that there's gonna be a bunch of people that do it and it's not gonna hit the same way. And
No.
it's because it's already been done. You know what I mean? Um, Listen, man, at the end of the day, I don't really
All I'm
care
gonna
what
say is if
people
that girl
think.
launches an OnlyFans today, she's
She already
making.
had an OnlyFans.
Oh,
She already
she
had
just
an
made
Only.
so much money. She
Oh,
made
she did.
so
She
much
posted.
money
I can
off
tell you.
this.
So you're now you're asking further, so I can give you further articulation on the situation. She posted because she already had an OnlyFans. She was doing OnlyFans leading up to this battle already. She was doing OnlyFans, and she was doing. I'm not sure about what type of content she was doing. I just know that she said in an interview that I watched on Hip Hop Is Real. Shouts out to Hip Hop Is Real, HHRIR on YouTube. Um, uh, she already had OnlyFans. She posted, I saw on OTFMZ, she posted a screenshot of her numbers. Her numbers on OnlyFans went up 356%. So, you know, like it's one of those things again, like I don't like listening to people who are like, but nothing. Listen, there's the same thing that I said about many other things on this show, where it's just like, listen, I'm not hating on people who do things for clout or to be seen. I'm not mad at that. If that's like you're cool with that, whatever you might do to get that, is well within your rights, because you clearly, if you want that like it moment, that viral moment, that's what you got to go for. That's not
I
what I'm
mean,
aiming for. That's not my goal. So that's not what I'm striving for. So
it's
I'm not,
also
but I'm
like
also not mad at the people that do it. You know, like
I'm like people are gonna be mad because clearly like this is a marketing play for the OnlyFans, especially since she's losing the battle. Like she probably not gonna have the most illustrious battle rap career per se. She might, I don't know, but
well, no,
like
let's not knock her career yet, right? She
no,
just
that's
probably
why I retracted that like right
she had
quick.
a bad event. She had bad one
Fair,
battle.
that's why.
You know,
Fair
one.
enough. But regardless of that, to take advantage of the moment and focus on the bigger picture, like it's like, who I think I was listening to like the Disaster Lush One podcast, and they were just talking about how to like market yourself at a battle and like everything's for sale and getting the sponsorships and all this other kind of shit. And it's like, okay, so like even at that end, if you're doing it all right with the craft, you still have to have all this other shit attached to you if you wanna make money off your. It's the same thing in like concerts. Like you might make a bag to go to the show, but you're probably gonna make way more of a bag if you show up with merch and a gimmick. Huh. Everything good?
Yeah, I didn't realize I had my notifications on, so I just got a ding. I
Fair. I
actually
heard the
got it.
ding. I was like, ooh, ding.
Yeah,
But
there we
yeah,
go.
I have to say, I
Yeah,
like to
man.
see creative marketing. I like to see people who
Creative marketing,
understand
right?
like the situation and take advantage of it. And then honestly, it's a way to cement yourself in history too. If you're the first to do anything, then you're the first to do it. That's gonna be talked about, especially if it
Yes.
becomes a trend.
Yeah. Again, I wasn't aware of either of the young ladies before this battle, but I walked away this week from the weekend only having watched Big Mook and Mook versus Bigg K, and that's the only battle I watched. But I walked away for sure, knowing Lady J's name after this weekend. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, yo, I have a lot of respect for people who move intelligently, and she clearly moved very intelligently. Moving on. Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, there we go. I went to see Guardians of the Galaxy. I remember that now that I'm talking about it. I
Boom.
went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy. Fantastic movie. Oh my God. I laughed. I cried. It sounds cliche, but it actually is the best fucking description for that movie. I literally, it was literally like a fucking emotional roller coaster. They closed that. It was the third movie of the trilogy. It was the last movie. James Gunn is not coming back to do anymore. I don't think that a couple of the characters are returning unless James Gunn is going to be directing, and James Gunn is really in charge of DC now. He left Marvel, so I don't know if we'll ever see this cast together again. The group, because Marvel, Disney owns the rights, right? Like, this director doesn't own the rights to these characters, right?
Right.
So like whatever, so like if Chris Pratt is still down to do Marvel movies, they're not gonna tell Chris Pratt, oh, James Gunn doesn't want to do a movie. You gotta sit on the sidelines. Fuck out of here. Like, they're gonna keep on doing Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Chris Pratt and whoever still wants to be involved will continue making movies. This iteration, this story, this group of actors, this director, these three movies, it's the end of their story. And it was an amazing, fitting ending to an amazing job across two other movies that were excellent.
Mm.
It's this the first movie set off the sci-fi space leg of Marvel's entire universe. When they first did the first movie, everything else before that was Iron Man. Thor was like mythology. It wasn't really in space itself, right? Like, this was like a story in space. It was characters people really never heard of. It was a comic book that was never really that popular at all. I could tell you that because even me, who's very well versed in comic book stuff, like when the movie was coming, I was like, "What? Guardians of the Galaxy?" Like, I remember having the card that I collected from the set of Marvel
I know
cards,
that
but like, I never read
that's
any
one
of the
of the
comic
Marvel
books.
series. I never got around to watching it, but it's actually one of the ones I wanted to watch because it just
Yeah,
caught
it
me.
got
Like it
compared a
looked
lot to Star
fun.
Wars when it first came out.
But it's also just the feel of it, right? It almost looks like it's goofing on all that shit in a fun way, which I love that because
Yeah,
let's be
no, it
real,
definitely is.
a lot of
It,
the
it's
Star
a
Warsy
it's a
stuff is serious, serious.
it's a very com- like like you said, goofy mixed with heartfelt um outsider energy. Like, they're a
Mm.
group of outsiders and misfit toys, and like, just the shunned people of society. So all the shunned people of society look at the Guardians of the Galaxy like their favorite group. They're not the popular blonde haired Captain America or the rich playboy philanthropist Tony Stark. It's not that. It's not the blonde bombshell Natasha Romanoff Black Widow. It's not the Avengers. It's the misfit, lesser
Other
known
guys.
characters. So like, people have this whole, which like, I don't agree with. Like, that's why I'm also kind of saying it like a little bit, sarcastically, because I don't feel that way. But whatever. Like, like, we're talking about Chris fucking Pratt. Fucking Chris Pratt is the
Chris,
lead, right? Um uh
I was
uh
just seeing a meme comparing old Chris Pratt from Parks and Recs to like his current body physique of
yeah,
today and
nah,
now,
crazy
and
crazy transformation. Crazy
you're like,
transformation.
nah, Chris Pratt's
Uh,
pretty, buff.
Yeah, and then Zoe Saldana's in it, and Zoe Saldana has maybe arguably the biggest career in Hollywood, seeing as how she was one of the leads in Avatar, James Cameron's movie, which was the highest grossing movie of all time. And
Mm.
then she was in Avengers Infinity War, which became the highest grossing movie of all time, and Endgame, which also is another high. And then she's in Avatar 2, which now is also in the top 10 grossing movies of all. So she's got 4 movies in the top 10 grossing movies of all time. That might be the biggest career in all of Hollywood. So like I wouldn't exactly call her an outcast. And then Bradley Cooper like does the voice of fucking Rocket Raccoon. These are just not the people that are like all these people that are like out here like, oh, I'm different, I'm other, I have these things that make me different. I love the Guardians. It's like, well, you love. It's like somebody who's like, man, I'm revolutionary. Like fuck the system, anarchy, and then they go take a shower with their Dove soap and like they put on some nice Old Spice deodorant. They put on their Hanes underwear.
Bro, I
It's
feel
like, man,
targeted
enjoy your
directly there.
revolution of
I
anarchy,
have
sir.
like Old Spice deodorant, and I currently moved to Dove
I'm
soap.
not. I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it. What I'm saying is, you can't be saying that you're fighting the
No,
revolution and
I
you want anarchy and depend
do
on
not
those
want anarchy.
products. Like
I'm mad, not
it's
in
totally
anarchy.
like totally kind of contradictory. Anyway,
Or like,
Guardians of the Galaxy was a great movie. Had a great opening weekend or opening week, 300 million. Really, ideally, it's not doing as good as Marvel would probably want it to be doing. I think that there's like a backlash that Marvel is facing. It's the same backlash that happens to all successful people. It's what happened to Jordan when he was on top of the world. It's what happens to LeBron when he's on top of the world. When Biggie was on top of the world. When Jay-Z is on top of the world. Kanye, Drake. Like whenever somebody's at the top of their game, they're the best ones in the fucking league. People want to hate just because. And Marvel has been winning for too long, and people are really just trying to like cry for Marvel's downfall because they just like to see the downfall of successful things because they're
fair.
miserable, in my opinion. Moving on to the next subject.
Alright, the next subject is the Jamie Foxx update, which comes with our first video.
Actor Jamie Foxx remains in a hospital this afternoon following what is described publicly and simply as a medical complication. The details of last month's health scare remains a mystery, but the encouraging news is his condition is no longer life-threatening. ABC's Eva Pilgrim has the story.
People close to actor Jamie Foxx giving an update on his mysterious hospitalization. A source telling People magazine they were told the Ray star,
I might be blind, but I ain't stupid,
who is recovering in a hospital from an undisclosed medical emergency last month, is stable and not in a life-threatening situation now. That person also saying doctors are doing more tests and want to be completely sure that he will be okay before allowing him to be discharged, and that the Oscar winner has been advised to keep his stress level down once he leaves the hospital.
Sources do tell people that they want to make sure that he is perfectly stable when they do eventually release him, but unfortunately we still don't know exactly when that will be.
This update coming just days after this message was posted on Fox's Instagram account saying, "Appreciate all the love, feeling blessed." Before being hospitalized, the 55-year-old was most recently seen filming in Atlanta with co-star Cameron Diaz on the set of Netflix's upcoming film Back in Action. The Fox insider telling People what happened to him medically is serious enough to keep him in the hospital, but adding the hospital is the last place Jamie wants to be, saying he has a lot of projects going on. He gets things done. He is focused and astute.
We've heard from some friends in his inner circle that he is recovering well, and they all do hope for the best, and they do think that he will come out of this sooner rather than later.
Fair.
Right. Just to update, you know. Listen, man, I was talking about this earlier. I just think it's like ugly for like people are like there's so many people out here who want to be the first ones to break that like Jamie Foxx died or that he's dying, and it's just like, bruh, how about like you just like hope that he gets better before wanting to be the first person to say that Jamie Foxx is dead, so you can get all the clicks and likes and sad reacts. Like it's just ugly. People are just so trash. Like, yo, social
No, they
media
want us
brings
to.
out the ugly
You're gonna
side.
watch the conspiracy theorist shit and everything else that's gonna come. I don't know. I just feel like maybe we should mind our businesses until the official authorities and because if you think about it, the last week you were stating people were already claiming he's dead, and if you listen to this update, the update cleanly states he's not dying. So I mean, like, well, that was a real jump in the gun if you were one of those people that claimed this dude was on his way out and etc.
And
etc.
even if he does end up dying, right? Like horrible if knock on wood, I hope he doesn't, right? Like, what did you accomplish? Like, you just accomplished being a scumbag piece of shit that was the first guy to say that he was dead before he was actually, like, pronounced dead officially. Like, that's like the scummiest title you could have, bro, online in the social media world. Like, what? What? This is your claim to fame? This is what you wanted to have? Like, it's just so trash. Moving on, man. Let's move on pretty quickly through some of these because we spent some time on battle rap, and also I don't want to drag us down 2 weeks in a row. I know
I'm
that
not. Yo, we having
but
fun
like
with
we
it. It's
also don't
good.
want to ignore news just because it's not like positive, upbeat news and shit. We also don't want to be like the news though, and like
That's
constantly bring
whatever.
doom and gloom into your life on a Friday afternoon. Like, not what I want to do.
Not
Jordan
even,
Neely
but
protests are going on all over the city. Um, I gave you. There's two
you
links
did. There's
here.
2 links. I'm gonna get the
Um,
first one
you
right
could
now.
grab the first one. The protests are literally all over the city. Um, I'm not playing with the city. I'm not playing with the NYPD. You can take my fucking picture and put it up on the precinct. Talk about it. No, we don't tear the city up if we don't get some change. Yes. We will. It's not. Jordan Neely. Jordan Neely. I'm not playing with the city. Yep.
Yeah, no, no.
Next clip, right? And we even took to the trains just to show you. I took this from Venus's page.
That's harsh. That's like they shut down the whole subway.
We'll be interviewing the person who grabbed that video while you're here. We'll discuss that more as the months come. But yeah, like I said to you, and I said this last week, I said it when it all happened, and I knew it. Like, you goddamn right, we were gonna protest. Like, he's not gonna get away with this. And that guy, like, he needed to get the fuck out of Dodge, but he couldn't get the fuck out of Dodge because of the legal situation. But like, you better hide, motherfucker. You better hide. There's no protection in this city for you. You know what I mean? Moving on, well, serious to like moderately serious. Kanye West cancellation updates, right? Like, Kanye West has been canceled according to many people. I don't know who, right? Because he ain't canceled with me. I'm
I know
still fucking
plenty.
with Kanye.
You,
Um,
I know
what
plenty.
happened?
I've had because I'm Jewish, right? So the amount of like one side of my life was hitting me with you got to admit though, Jews are in Hollywood, da 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 da, and the other side of my life was hitting me with yo, it feel like the anti-Semitism is on the rise here, and I was having all of that. That's anytime Kanye comes up. It depends which camp you're on, but usually it goes one of those two directions for me.
How did you feel?
I mean, I'm not like thrilled with how frivolously he's throwing around his love for Hitler. Just inherently, it's not my favorite thing. But I also watched 5 to 6 hours of this man being interviewed by people, and when you listen to the bigger picture of what he said his intentions were, it was to leverage tactics that white people have been using against the black community forever and throw it back in their face. So if you pay attention to revolution and protest and all of these things, successful ones are super uncomfortable. And in the same way that you're saying that you can't be out there like rocking your Old Spice claiming revolution, you can't be claiming revolution and not be comfortable with doing uncomfortable things. I don't like his tactic, but he has a point. But he also delivered it in a way I don't like. But that's
Right.
doesn't change the fact that it creates conversation, and it
Yeah, I
was
mean, listen, I think
bigger
there's one of
than
those
his
things.
individual moment.
I think it's one of those things where like a lot of the things that people were getting caught up in, right? Where like, Like people were talking about him like he was saying the greatest things about Hitler, and it was like, nah, he was really just trying to get across the point that like every human being who has ever walked the earth has redeemable qualities, period. You know what I mean? Like even the biggest shitbag, which is why he got to the name Hitler. You know what I mean? And like as a person who would be what he claims to be, right, which is a
Shout out
God-fearing
Sarah
man.
Connor for watching on Facebook.
Word, shouts to Sarah Connor. As him being what he claims to be, right, which is a God-fearing man, I would expect that type of mentality. You should, like, if you're a God-fearing man and every man that has ever walked the earth is your brother and humans are all a reflection of God and this and that, that means that yes, even the worst human beings on earth have redeemable qualities and probably were good people in certain ways. And
I mean, had he just said that and not said shit like "I love
yeah, but
Hitler,"
that's the thing is that
it's
if he
like,
does do that, if he does do that, then it doesn't go viral, right?
which I'm hearing,
And
which is why I said like it's super. Like I remember one time, um, Black Lives Matter shut down the gay pride protest in Toronto, and I had a lot of black people telling me like, "Yo, the point of protest is disruption," and a lot of people want this civility in it, but the reality of social revolution is that, like the news playing on shock value, it is shocking shit that moves the needle. Like, it requires Kanye West to make those statements to even have big picture conversations like, where's the line? Because now
right,
everyone's talking about it. I've had multiple people talk to me about how, Jews need to check themselves because in the bigger picture, they forget that they're kind of white in the bigger things when they look at these things. I've had other sides be like, oh, say word. Yeah, there is kind of this weird hatred of Jews going on, which is also happening. And so, like, all
there's
these things
always
can
there's
exist.
always a dislike for Jews
But,
going
and,
on.
and like, I think that Kanye West playing that role in that media moment unlocked a lot of conversations that probably happened behind closed doors that left a lot more people enlightened, even if Kanye West himself gets branded however he gets branded. And oftentimes it requires these villainesque figures to play these catalyst roles. Like Snitch Nine had a similar role in gang culture and the concept of what is and should be in lyrics. And like a lot of people have these moments, and I'm not trying to equate these two people, but just the way that their villain role had a bigger impact on culture. To that end, I don't think you can cancel Kanye West. I don't think you can cancel a guy that after cancellation is still worth 9 figures.
Right.
Like
Yeah, no,
what?
I don't believe in canceling. You can't cancel nobody. R. Kelly's in jail right now, and I still hear his music getting played all over like New York City. So that means that like he's somebody's getting paid under his name. You know what I mean? So he's getting paid. His name is getting paid. Uh I don't know how much he's directly benefiting from it, but like it's one of those things where like canceled how? If people are still listening to him, how canceled is he?
And it's like,
You're
okay,
never
so,
canceled to the people that love you.
and like, let's say you lose your job, you find a new job. Are you canceled? Are you never gonna work again for the rest of your life? Like, okay, you go to jail. Is jail canceled? Like, like, because in theory, in many cases, you can get out. And then, I don't know. I don't know what canceled means in this world. I know that a lot of people throw it around, and I'm like, all the people you said got canceled got richer. So I don't really see
Right,
it personally.
right, right. So yeah. So
Yeah,
in updating the world on Kanye's doings, he had a secret Yeezy season fashion week show, which is like, kind of speaks to him always being up, up on what's going on and like knowing that like he's quote unquote canceled. So like, doing a secret one versus doing a public one, because, play into
you want me to play the
the
clip?
headlines and play into things. What
You want
happened?
me to play the clip?
Yeah, yeah. Play the clips.
All right,
Play
loading.
the play the first one and then go grab the second one. And I'll keep on
So Kanye West
Chat.
had a secret Yeezy fashion show, and Frank Ocean was the soundtrack for it. I'm Asia Sky for Hip Hop DX, and check this out. Following a controversy-ridden 2022, Kanye West has made his return to fashion, albeit in an uncharacteristically inconspicuous fashion. The extremely low-key affair barely revealed any clothing or fashion designs at all. Instead, it focused on a group of skinhead models wearing skin-tight white t-shirts with black pants. The event was held inside an empty warehouse on Melrose Avenue, and footage from the event shows models holding candles as Frank Ocean's self-control plays in the background. Kanye himself reportedly wasn't present, although he was seen preparing for the show earlier that day alongside his wife Bianca Censori. A viral photo showed him rocking a retro Umbro Manchester United jacket and what appeared to be black leggings. So what are your thoughts on the artistic direction for the Yeezy Season 10 fashion show? Let us know in the comment section, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and keep it locked.
Right. So he had a secret fashion week show. Adidas was speaking about.
So Kanye West has decided to troll Adidas. I'm Asia Sky for Hip Hop DX, and check this out. So Kanye West has decided to take his trolling to new levels, and Ye has now opened up a Yeezy store right next door to an Adidas store in Los Angeles. According to a May 3rd post from Ye fan site Donda Times, the new office is located on Melrose Ave between Laurel and North Edenburg, with just a hair salon separating the brand and its former distributor, Adidas.
Yo, Kanye might be the pettiest person in the world. Here is the Adidas store on Melrose, and here is where Kanye's new Yeezy office is allegedly located. Yeah, right there. Right there.
This news comes after reports that Yeezy's office declined conviction after missing 2 months' rent of $63,254. Ye first leased the 15,000 square foot office in 2015 when Yeezy was known as West Brands Fashion. At the lease signing of that office, Ye agreed to pay $31,477 per month and did so in full before missing the payments for November and December. Unclear why he moved offices or if he officially has, but that could be the reason for this new Yeezy office on Melrose. So what are your thoughts on Kanye placing his Yeezy office right next to an Adidas store? Let us know in the comment section. Subscribe.
That's funny. That's a hilarious fucking move. That's why Kanye West can't be canceled.
Exactly.
Like what? Who does that? I mean, but you want to do that in your soul. Like, I think people are deep down that petty and resist it all the time. And Kanye West indulging his inner pettiness just inspires people in its own weird way. I don't know. I think that's hilarious. I don't know if you have more to add to the Kanye West situation.
Nah, I mean, listen, man. My dogs are still out here winning. That's what I wanted to really emphasize, regardless of the people who dislike him. So, fuck you guys. Moving on, Tory Lanez update. So Tory Lanez had filed an appeal to the case that he lost back in December. It was right before Christmas. It was right before Christmas Day. It's so crazy. I'm like, you see, this in my opinion, Tory Lanez being found guilty, and like a lot of what's gonna come down on him is like a residue of like people putting a battery in his back, and like the people rushing to come to a judgment in the court of public opinion, instead of him focusing on like winning a case in the court of judicial court in America. You know what I mean? Like, you need to focus on the truth of what's going to come out in this court. And if you can't like say a full truth for whatever reason, then you should definitely not have been out there doing the things that he was doing. He so he filed an appeal, and the appeal got denied, and so now the judge is going to deliver a verdict finally, and he faces anywhere between, I believe it's like 15 to 22 years or something like that. I forget, or 10 to 22 years, something like that. Forget what the number is, the minimum number. And if it's the minimum number, then he'll only have to really serve about half that time. So like if he gets 10, then he'll really only have to serve about 5 years. I don't ever like to see no black man go to jail. I'm not the biggest Tory Lanez fan as a person, but he's really talented musically. I wish that this would have went differently. but he made a lot of bad decisions. He made a lot of bad decisions, period, because like it was his gun regardless. So like, what the fuck were you doing taking a gun out on a date? Like, what were you doing taking a gun out on a date to to Kylie fucking Jenner's fucking birthday party, like birthday pool party, whatever the fuck it was. Like, what? Like, why are you doing that? Like, there's so many. Like, how do you? Where's your like? Just have a guy. Just have a guy right next to you that's legally allowed to carry a weapon. Like, why are you carrying a gun? Like, what? This is all sorts of nonsense. Why did you allow your dad to get out there and get in front of cameras and start talking the way he did? Like, why a lot of dumb shit that is just like, regardless of whether or not you did what you're being accused of, there's other things that you could have done to not get caught up in this situation, and yet you did them. And that's why in this situation you have not made the best moves, and you probably have like painted yourself in a corner that you didn't realize that you didn't want to be in. It's unfortunate for Tory Lanez, man. I hope he doesn't get a crazy sentence. I'm pretty sure Megan herself doesn't want to see him behind jail. She, from the way that she worded it and the way that it played out immediately in media, and what she said on her end, she was not. She was moving like a black woman that understands how persecuted we are by police, and was not trying to throw him under the bus when cops arrived on the scene. And I doubt that she wants to see him in jail. She just, she actually didn't want to see anything because she wasn't persecuting him of anything. That was the state of California that was convicting him of or persecuting him of a crime, right? Like judging him of a crime. He was going up against California, not Megan Thee Stallion.
Which people may think is ludicrous, but when Canadians pull up and start acting a foul, the U.S. government gonna come down super hard on you. Why? Because you may not know this, but the Canadian government does the exact same thing when Americans come up here
Absolutely.
and act super
Absolutely.
foul. So this is like bigger than them. This is a pissing match between Canada and the U.S. and who's got, you think you can come here and act foul? Get the fuck out of my country. And that's really what it came down to, because he's from Toronto, right? Like, I'll give you the Twitch link right now, Sarah. I just happen to have this open. Apparently the Facebook video is acting funny. Sorry about that. But yeah, all I'm saying is like, and look, I don't know. I feel like the way this case has been described, there were so many misplays that it is what it is. My Facebook has constantly been a buzz about who's right and who's wrong, and I find the topic is very weird to watch play out because most people are in their feelings when they're discussing this. Like, I ended up at an event that turned into a there was a literal documentary crew there filming, because the event was now a free Tory protest of sorts, and the whole night they were like, we were booked, like we were in Toronto, right? Like, so we didn't really know that this is what this event would be, but the guy throwing the event's the ex-manager of Tory Lanez, and he was just trying to, I guess, show love for his boy, do his thing. But now the whole night, it was like these fuck Megan chants going on, and we're like, let's dodge every camera. Let's not, because, like, this is...
Yeah. That looks crazy.
There's a lot of passion on this topic.
People don't understand that you can want one thing without disparaging the other. Like, that is such a lesson that our society as a whole needs to learn or relearn, if they had already learned it, because they clearly have forgotten overall as a society. You don't have to. In order for you to be number one, you have to beat other people, right? You can want to be number one and be great without taking away from other people's greatness. You don't have to. I don't have to say that Jay-Z sucks to say that Kanye is great. I can say that they're both great without like having to pit them against each other or like make one greater than the other. Like people don't know how to just like support one thing without disparaging the other.
Honestly,
They could have easily been supporting Tory Lanez without disparaging Megan Thee Stallion.
and I can appreciate how this one event was in Toronto. It's not like I don't really.
I get
It's
it.
not like me, right? Like it's not my place. I tried to just stay out of it. But like what I saw on Facebook outside of that event was how quickly it turned into some man versus woman shit, and there was a lot of
Yeah.
extra conversations where this is, and like I don't know, like it kind of was like you said, why did this Canadian pull up in California with a gun? Like I don't.
Yeah, that's definitely the first thing that I was bringing up online was like, yo, he's Canadian, and like Slick Rick got deported back to England when he was like clearly like American, living here for wild long, right? Went to high school here, so clearly like it's not like you moved here at like 20 something or 30 something. You moved here in your teens or younger, right? And he'd been living here for over 20 years when they deported him, and they still deported him. Why? Because you can't be in other countries shooting guns when you're not like a natural citizen of that country. Like what? That's absurd.
And
So
like, I don't think maybe like I don't think 22 years like that to like all that part. I don't wish that on him.
yeah, again, I don't wish jail on no black man. So
And like especially the way they came, like it feels like it was one of the misunderstanding moments that got heated. Like it feels like a big but
right.
at the end
And
of the
again,
day,
this is what I was saying about that crowd, right? Where it's just like, yo, I can want for him to be apologetic, persecuted to a degree without wanting to see him in jail,
right?
And I can want for him to have to face music for doing some fucked up shit without wanting to see him persecuted in jail for 22 fucking years. Like that's just an absurd amount of time. But
Right.
people don't know how to just, be more balanced and like understand that two things can be true at the same time.
Honestly,
Yo,
I think the 22 years came because of the media cycle, and it was like a direct relationship. But
that's what I was saying at the beginning. Yeah.
So
Moving on. There's rumors that Chris Brown beat up or jumped Usher at a show that they had together. It's like a roller skating show. Chris Brown denied rumors. Apparently, it was over Teyanna Taylor. She's in the middle of the drama. Play the video, man. I guess that shit will explain this shit better.
So Chris Brown has shared his side of what happened at the Lovers and Friends Festival. Hey, what's up? I'm A-Dub, and check this out. So this incident reportedly took place during Missy Elliott's set at the Las Vegas Fest on Saturday, May 6th, with footage showing Chris Brown repeatedly getting in the face of several men who appear to be bodyguards as his crew attempts to hold him back. Chris Brown, looking visibly angered, repeatedly screams, "I got it," and can be seen trying to shove the other men again and again, but to no avail. After the video made the rounds online, Chris Brown took to Instagram the following day to provide context to the confrontation, claiming he was merely helping security clear the backstage area and protect his child who was with him. He said, "Y'all been geeked all weekend, y'all dragging it now. It was mad people backstage and security was trying to clear everyone off the stage. People started pushing back. I intervened to let them know my child was back there so y'all can keep your narrative." But that wasn't the only incident Chris Brown was reportedly involved in this past weekend, because on Friday, May 5th, it is alleged that him and his crew jumped Usher at Chris Brown's birthday party at a skating rink in Vegas. According to Hollywood Unlocked, Chris Brown and Usher got into a heated argument after Breezy started to yell at Teyanna Taylor, who was also in attendance and had apparently ignored him. Footage obtained by TMZ showed Usher attempting to calm Chris Brown down while he walked away from Teyanna, seemingly pissed off and shouting in her direction. Chris Brown then reportedly directed his anger at Usher, calling him a coward before leaving the rink. Usher is said to have followed Chris outside, where he was jumped by him and his entourage, coming away with a bloody nose. But a video was posted on Usher's Instagram stories the following day, which cast doubt on those reports, as he was seen with no visible facial injuries and in good spirits while preparing for his performance at Lovers and Friends that night.
Hey, yo, we're here having a great time. See y'all soon.
And Chris Brown also took the stage at the festival on Saturday, just hours before Usher's headlining set, and appeared to be in great spirits as well. While the news of their alleged altercation quickly went viral, neither Usher, Chris Brown, nor Teyanna Taylor have confirmed that a fight took place, nor has any such incident been reported to the police as of press time. But this was a crazy weekend out in Las Vegas. Do you think Chris Brown and Usher really got into it? What do you think about what Chris Brown had to say about the video of him being backstage?
Wow. It just feels like when you just watch it as a summary without really caring, because I was distracted and wasn't like following this one, that just feels like this wild rush where both men are like, I don't know if this really happened, and everyone's just now, this is fact. It really went down. This is what we believe.
Listen, I was telling some friends of mine when we were discussing it, I was like, it doesn't really matter if it actually happened or it didn't happen. All I know is that Chris Brown is constantly in the middle of shit, or his name is. And that's what's like, when you fucking up somewhere in the middle of all this shit, you're fucking up because like your name keeps on getting brought. It don't matter if you did or you didn't do the things that your name gets brought up with, but beating Rihanna, having a fight with Drake in a club, throwing bottles, having a fight with Frank Ocean, having problems with Karuchi, with your baby mom, having like there's video of him like talking about like how like he's the type of guy that when a woman leaves him, he doesn't want her to move on and have a happy life, which is just like, oh my God, you said that on camera? You sound crazy. And then now this thing, it's just like, it doesn't matter which one of those headlines is accurate and which one of them isn't, or if they're all inaccurate. The point is that you still got yourself in the middle of this shit
I just gotta
on a constant basis.
Look, I feel like, okay, on the one side, yes, you're right, because like my old bosses used to say to me, which I kind of now as I'm older fuck with it, if there's smoke, there's fire. But on the other hand, Sarah Connor's making a really excellent point. On that note, what up, Chris Chrome and Biosave? She's pointing out like the media is targeting him, and sometimes that does happen, right? Like he's like the opposite of a media darling. Like I don't know if there's a term for that, but like you're like the worst in the eyes of the media, and so in a lot of ways, they like any headline they can get that paints Chris Brown as a bad guy is guaranteed virality, because the truth is you're gonna have that conversation appear every single time on the threads. And the media people notice, so it is possible that like you know, like when like if you insult somebody every day, it almost like they start to believe that bullshit, and then like they change their reality based on that. So I could see how like the media paints Chris Brown in a way, and then this attracts an energy to him even when he's trying to be good, and then it just kind of is this weird cycle, the way like they do that shit with Britney Spears and other people.
Yeah, man. I hear that. I personally speaking think it's not a good look.
Smoke, there's fire.
You know what I mean? Like if I was Chris Brown's friend, I'd be like, yo, bro, you bugging the fuck out. It don't matter. It don't matter which one of these things you did or didn't do. At this point, your name stays on fire, and you're constantly out here getting your name involved in some shit. Period.
That's fair.
That's the way it looks. That's the way it looks to wild.
It makes me not want to go hang out at the Chris Brown party because I'm gonna personally be a little bit afraid that something gonna pop off while I'm there.
Tomorrow I blow up. Tomorrow I become a billionaire, and I'm at parties. I'm at Hollywood parties and all these. And somebody tells me that Chris Brown's having a party. Guess what I'm doing? Not going.
Right.
Doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter which one of these headlines he's actually responsible for or isn't. He's just turned me off as a person to where it's just like, oh no, there's gonna be drama there, because Chris Brown's name is always in drama.
And as Sarah Connor just said, there will be paparazzi there, good or bad. Like he attracts that. And like again, I'm not
like
stating it like it's his fault. I'm willing to acknowledge that this is possibly media induced, but you still tango with it in some way or another, or I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I digress. Chris Brown and Usher was one of them stories, and I'm curious to know what y'all think in the comments. Also, did it happen, or how you feel about it? Would you, if you blew up, Would you go to the Chris Brown mansion party if you're invited? That's the real question.
Listen, in the middle of that, something came up that I was like, I was not aware
I
that,
can't
like,
fight Sarah.
apparently Teyanna Taylor, right? Like this is a controversial thing because, like, why is Chris Brown arguing with Teyanna Taylor when Teyanna Taylor stood by Chris Brown's side when he had his thing with Rihanna, his first big thing that, like, was negative press? She stood by his side, and apparently there was like beef between Teyanna Taylor and Rihanna because of this. And so, like, Rihanna one time posted like video clips of one of her stylists or like hairstylists or hair people, like gay man, kind of mocking Teyanna Taylor's latest music video at that time, and like did a whole video mocking Teyanna Taylor. And like Rihanna posted this, right? So like apparently there's like beef there, and like I then questioned, like, because Teyanna Taylor is constantly talking about never getting her fair shot in the music industry. And I started questioning, like, maybe this is why she never got her fair shot, right? Because you were beefing with one of the most biggest artists in the game, right? Like, it's like J.O. Felony was beefing with Jay-Z once upon a time, you know? Like, you know the name Jay-Z. Do you know the name J.O. Felony? Oh, have you ever heard the name J.O. Felony?
Like, I feel like if anything, it's in passing watching one of those hidden rap beefs you've never remembered videos to like illustrate your point.
Yeah, to illustrate my point. Exactly. Like,
shout out Sarah like, for remembering him and having an encyclopedic memory like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I remember J.O. Felony. I remember him absolutely. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things where like it goes to, you know, like I think that like there's something that people don't understand about blackball, right? Which is like a lot of times there's no secret meeting that happens. There's no secret conversation that happens. It's really just a matter of, listen, if tomorrow I get a phone call from Jay-Z, Holden, and he's like, huh, yeah, what up, yeah, you know, me doing Jay-Z work, right? And he's like, yeah, I love the Perspectives podcast, right? I'm like, yo, this is amazing. I got Jay-Z on the phone. Yo, you want to know what I'm not doing tomorrow, the next day? I'm not associating myself with anybody who's an openly known Jay-Z hater. I'm just not. You know what I mean? I'm not going to use my platform to give those people a voice. I'm not going to talk about those people. I'm not going to fucking... I'm not even fucking stepping nowhere near them. You know why? Because I potentially could be doing business with somebody like Jay-Z, and I'm going to lose that for what? Like, to talk about how much I love J.O. Felony, to talk about how, like, you know, whoever's the latest person dissing Hov, right? Like, what?
Yo, dead ass though, it's the same thing with shadow banning. Like, I don't believe shadow banning exists the way people think it does. What usually happens is people just stop fucking with your shit.
Yeah.
Because, like, when you go actually check a profile for somebody talking about shadow banning, the biggest exposure I've had is like when it's like people who do things like trends or they look hot or they cosplay, and then it's like they thanks for resubscribing, Chris. It's like instead of inventing something new, they just do the same shit forever and ever and ever, and then all of a sudden people are like, yeah, I done seen this, I'm bored. And then it's just like an organic unfollowing. Like the same way you organically gain the clout, you can organically like lose it, and then you flip up your shit. Or like people will be like, oh, I started talking about this controversial topic and now I'm shadow banned. It's like, nah, nobody wanted to hear you talk about that topic, so you got no views.
Yeah, that's it. That's all that happened. Yeah, exactly. Most
and it's
times
like,
that's what ended up happening.
And so it's like, yeah, in the world of music and shit, it's like, okay, well, if like you are a bad vibe at a party, you're just not going to get invited to the party. Point final. It's not deeper than that. Like, it's just who would be fine.
Or if you don't fuck with somebody at the party, right? And the person at the party is one of the bigger people, bigger names, bigger, you know, it's just, yo, fam, that's just how it goes down. People are like, yo, this is a person that I want to work with. This is a person who's known, respected for X, Y, and Z. I like them. I fuck with them. They fuck with me. So I'm going to show my loyalty by not fucking with the people that don't fuck with them. And that's it. There's no conversations that happen. There's no nothing. It's just people are like, oh, word, you don't fuck with Rihanna? I don't fuck with you. You know what I mean? Oh, word, you don't fuck with Beyonce? I don't fuck with you. Oh, word, you don't fuck with Jay-Z? Well, I don't fuck with you. You know what I mean? And it goes down the line. There's a version of it all the way down at our level where they're like, there's people who are like, oh, word, you fuck with Holden? They're like, oh, word, you fuck with Holden? I don't fuck with you.
Facts.
And there's people who are like, oh, word, you fuck with Flacko? I don't fuck with you. You know what I mean?
Dead ass.
And that's how it goes.
Sometimes I even deserve it. Sometimes it's weird shit.
I deserve it a whole bunch of times.
I did what they said. I fucked up or didn't. I stand by some of it. I don't stand by all of it. Sometimes you make mistakes, reflect, get older and shit. But end of the day, there are burned bridges. There's parties where I know I'm not getting the invite because next man's going to pull up. Or there's shows where I'm like, it might be more respectful to stay out of this one. Like shit like that happens at every level of every social interaction. It happens in your day job at work. Like there's like the Sanka sets the whole company goes to, and then there's the little private get-togethers that each of the cliques have. And who do we invite them? But no, it's everywhere. It's just how humans be. Anyway.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. I just wanted to get them bars off because, like, I feel like there's like this conversation around blackballing that like people don't understand, like the larger conversation and like what really it is it's not some crazy conspiracy, and it's really just a matter of like, yo, I don't fuck with you. Period. Sorry,
and
you
honestly,
don't fuck with somebody that I fuck with. I don't fuck with you.
If you do get blackballed, maybe it blocks certain blessings in your life, but it certainly unlocks new blessings in your life because a lot of people are not going to choose to be on your side, and they would never have had to choose before.
There's a saying.
Go on.
There's a saying: when one door closes, another one opens.
Also, you can't really have like virality or fame in this game or like real clout if you have no haters. That's why they tell you to love your haters, because literally at a psychological level, people won't support you. Like if you're neutral as fuck, nobody's going to talk about you because there's nothing to defend, there's nothing to debate. So if you have a polarizing personality, you're going to piss off a fuck ton of people, and it sucks, and you have to learn to live with it. Some of y'all are good at this from battle rap era, some of y'all are new at this, but this is what comes with it, because by having the haters, you create the defenders. And the defenders become your biggest advocates who push your brand farther and deeper than you ever could on your own. And that only comes from people coming at you where they have to think about it and make the choice to pick your side, which is a real part of building a brand in general. Like Apple did that shit even. I digress. You want the next topic?
Moving on.
Yeah.
Joe Buttons versus Gillie The Kid, the podcast wars.
I don't know anything about this one.
Man. Go to the tape. I don't really got a lot to say about it. I just think it's hilarious.
I'm down to check it though, because Chris probably cares. Chris Chrome definitely probably cares.
Chris does care. You see, that's why I cover this type of shit.
So it looks like the Joe Budden and Gillie The King feud has been reignited. I'm Asia Sky for Hip Hop DX, and check this out. So the Joe Budden and Gillie The King beef has been reignited with the rappers turned podcasters taking shots at each other online. Joe Budden threw the first punch this past weekend when he ridiculed an unnamed rival for bragging about their earning power, yet not exactly living in an extravagant home. On the Joe Budden podcast, Joe stated, after these statements, internet detectives linked Joe Budden's comments to a recent Instagram video from Gillie, in which he filmed a woman asleep in his bed and showed his headboard covering a small window in his bedroom. After catching wind of the apparent sneak diss, Gillie The King fired back at Joe Budden on Twitter on Sunday, May 7th by calling him a washed-up rapper and bringing up his past rehab stints and domestic violence allegations. Gillie wrote, after the washed-up rap career, in and out all the rehabs, all the beating on, now you want a podcast beef. I'll beef when you start getting some ad money. Joe Budden then returned fire by saying, you selling out here for cheap. Watch your mouth when you speak to or of me. Joe and Gillie also traded jabs on Academic's Instagram page, with Gillie accusing Budden of stirring up beef to boost his struggling income. Gillie wrote, when that money slow up, you want a podcast beef. And Joe responded, I ain't like your little ad speech. I took that personally. So what are your thoughts on the back and forth between Joe Budden and Gillie? And do you think they'll wind up having a conversation on either of their podcasts? Let us know in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification.
I just don't know how much I care. Like, it feels so engineered
I
for
mean,
cloud.
listen, people
It
care.
feels
People
engineered.
care. I just
Feels
don't,
like
and
some
you don't.
WWE stuff right there. And everybody involved makes enough money
I mean,
to know exactly how to play their role in this game. Everybody involved
right.
just knows how to. They all have data analysts. Everybody in the game has a BI team. Okay, you don't make that kind of money and not have a BI team telling you, yo, play with this one. Yo, Joe, go trigger this shit. Watch. Both sides make big bank. Academics, of course, makes big bank because he just there doing his thing. And everybody wins. And if a podcast war really breaks out, watch how, like, yo, it's when there's podcast wars that I care about podcasts like that. I don't really watch it when nothing's popping off, you know?
Right.
Like, I know it's terrible to say, but, I mean, I want to, like, when Joe Budden want to rant
Holden's
about
like, I don't
shit,
give a
then I'm in. But, like, otherwise, like, okay, whatever, regular week. But then, ooh, podcast beef. This is like rap battles with podcasters. It's different and entertaining. Or like them old
Right.
school, like, beef dish tracks, but with like YouTube clips and Instagram posts. It's fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of Joe Budden. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I call him Joe Buttons on purpose because I know that he, you know, he's like, first off, it's not pluralized. Second off, it's Button, not Buttons. But I call him Joe Buttons because, you know, I don't like him. So fuck him. You know? And I'm always kind of like, fuck him. So like, yeah, go Gillie The Kid.
Fair.
But I know Chris, I know CC loves him. I know
He
a lot of
does.
people love him.
I mean, he's not boring. I just don't have as much interest.
I don't like him. I don't like his opinions. I don't like nothing about that guy. Let me tell you something. I'll agree with him once every blue moon because like even a broken clock's right twice a day, you know? Yeah. Moving on. Puff Daddy versus Jermaine Dupri Verzuz gets an official date. Let's go. The bet is on still, Holden. You remember the bet, Holden?
Of course I remember the bet. So if Puff wins...
I hope you do because I keep on forgetting this shit.
Puff
As
wins,
we saw evidence by
which
the
you
beginning
expect.
of this episode, I'm forgetting.
So the Diddy...
Yeah, you if Puff wins, you get nothing, I get nothing because it's what it is. But your confidence of Puff winning is so high that if Jermaine Dupri wins, I get $50 just like that. So that's basically the bet at the moment. Yeah.
Wait. What is it?
If Puff wins, if Puff wins, you get nothing.
Nothing happens.
And if Jermaine Dupri wins, I get $50 because you don't believe it's possible that Jermaine Dupri wins. All right.
I'm Agent Sky for Hip Hop DX, and get this. Diddy and Jermaine Dupri's long-awaited Verzuz battle has been confirmed with a date and venue. In a video posted to Busta Rhymes' social media on Sunday, May 7th, Diddy revealed that he'll finally be going up against Jermaine Dupri in a
Tierra
Verzuz
Whack is
September 8th
dope.
at New York City's Madison Square Garden.
September 8th at the Garden, nigga, me versus Jermaine. Nigga, have you got the Raptors flying out the sky. Yeah. All weekend we wearing that shit, nigga. We spend the rest of our lives, nigga. Yeah.
The white and the black brothers. In the clock. Get into your zone, King. Get into your zone, King. Get into your zone. Get into your zone. Get in your zone, boy. Get in your zone, boy. Get in your zone, boy.
Despite Diddy's comments, Verzuz co-founders Timbaland and Swizz Beatz have yet to formally announce the event. Diddy and Jermaine Dupri previously agreed to put their catalogs to the test last August. Diddy went on Instagram Live and invited Jermaine Dupri into the session, and he was feeling confident about his chances in a head-to-head battle.
If you want that smoke, you can get that smoke anytime. Hey, relax. Come with him. You can go through. I look forward to this. We saying since we ain't fucking with Verzuz no more because they fucking around with our boys. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to be going together against each other. Let's come together and do that bad boy so death in Atlanta at that time. It ain't no Verzuz. It's just hit for hit. Let's do it.
So what are your thoughts about this Diddy and Jermaine Dupri Verzuz battle? Who do you think has the best catalog, and who do you think will win?
Yo, that goes to show you how, like, exactly what I was talking about. Like, that's why I have so much belief in Puff being able to beat him, because that versus stage is kind of like a battle stage, especially after the Locks and Dipset. And like, as you can see by how they went back and forth, Diddy got the gift of gab. Diddy gonna talk shit like a motherfucker. And Jermaine Dupri, he's not a shit talker like that. You know, the most important thing in that like thing that started all this to me is that Diddy said, "Set it up. We can do it in Atlanta." So initially, Diddy was like, "Yo, I'll come to your fucking hometown and I'll beat your ass in front of your people, okay, motherfucker?" Like, that's how confident I am. But now apparently it's gonna be September 8th at the Garden in New York fucking City. Let's fucking go. It's a wrap. I'm definitely not losing any money for sure. Like, guaranteed, bro. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
I don't see how Jermaine Dupri is gonna win in New York City. I don't see how that could happen, to be honest. Because, the hometown crowd matters. Even if it doesn't matter on the YouTube video after the fact, it does in the performance. Because, if the whole crowd is not feeling you, you still got to perform with that energy in your face. And, 20 tracks is a long time.
That, like,
what?
It almost sounded like you were saying, like, Jermaine Dupri. It almost sounded like you were saying Jermaine Dupri could win somewhere else, You know what I mean? Let me tell you something. Our show is a bad boy show. Like, we bad boy over here. You know what I mean? Because I'm bad boy.
I hear you. I wasn't trying to say that he could win somewhere else. Okay, like, to be honest,
listen,
I do believe in all universes that Diddy wins this, because frankly, I could name Diddy hits and I struggled to go down the Jermaine Dupri. I could not give you 20 Jermaine Dupri hits right now. I'm sure the whole time I would be like, oh yeah, but like, nah, like, even my high school was like the Puff Daddy era takeover. Like, there's mad joints that he has that like I like, because that's what got me into hip hop. I just don't think about it a lot.
I got two things to say. One, take that. Two, bad boy. About play. I mean, hold
yeah.
on. I mean,
I do.
Do the Warriors.
I don't know. It's dope.
Yo, Diddy, bad boy is bad boy for life. You know what I mean? And like, yo, I can't wait to see this. I got $50 on Diddy just kicking ass. Moving on.
Meth vs. Red already do it? Hold on. Lindo, didn't Meth vs. Red already do a versus? Didn't that happen?
Yeah, Meth vs. Red already happened. Right. Oh, yeah, Lindell was saying he would like to see Meth vs. Red. Yeah, that shit already happened, bro. They did Meth vs. Red.
They were like, just like, we're too good at friends for this to be an entertaining versus, so it just turned into a Red and Meth show. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, it was just a Red and Meth show at the end of the day. You know, like, it wasn't really a versus.
Yeah, fair enough.
Almost the same thing with Ray and Ghostface was almost the same type of. Yeah, it was almost the same type of vibe, but it was different because they weren't really performing. They had seats. It was like almost like the old format of versus.
It was early.
Anyway, it was earlier. It was earlier than Red versus.
I think it was like still COVID versus. All right, but next topic has a link, so I'll get that loaded up as you introduce it.
50 Cent, Shaq, and Kenya Barris are reportedly forming a group to try to purchase BET. Really, they're just you can go ahead and go to the link anytime. I'm just trying to.
Ooh, TMZ.
There was an old joke that was told, not an old joke, but there was a joke, and I think it was told at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which we're going to get to in a second. And I think the joke was about the climate that finally black people are going to buy BET.
Oh, that was a joke that was told at the White House Correspondents' Dinner?
Well, we got some information now on three people who are big contenders.
3 new people who are putting their enormous fortunes together to try and buy the network. That would be 50 Cent, Shaq, and Kanye Barris, creator of Blackish and a lot of other things.
That is a team.
That is a,
formidable team.
That is a dream team right there. And they're going up against, and we've talked about this, that there are already some huge names who
Tyler Perry and Byron Allen are teaming up to try to buy BET?
They're actually not teaming up. They are separate entities.
I thought they were teaming up.
No. Nope.
Oh, they're head-to-head in this?
So so you have Tyler, you have Byron, and Diddy wants in. So
this is, I
gotta tell you, this is all good
really
news.
Interesting.
This is all good news for the price of BET, which no one has really figured out exactly what it's going to go for.
So this would drive the price up if you have this kind of bidding war.
Exactly.
Well, and it makes a lot of sense too, right? Because obviously Kanye Barris, he has the producing, the writing, the directing credits. Shaq is on TV almost nightly now and has his own projects. And then 50 Cent just had that huge deal with Stars. He's now signed a multi-year with Foxx, and he's also about to go on a 60-plus show tour. So he's still connected in music as well. I mean, they kind of have it all here.
Yeah, and what they can also do is, they have tentacles that extend beyond what they do particularly, and they can draw a lot of people in just by star power.
There is an investment group that they are working with as well. Kanye Barris already is a minority owner of BET Studios.
Fair. I imagine they're just gonna get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, that's it. I was gonna say you could cut it at 2 minutes. Yeah, man. We'll see who ends up buying it. I think all those names make sense. Shaq is a great businessman. Same as 50 does a bunch of TV shows and has could use a network of his own to put out his own content. But the same thing could be said for Diddy, because Diddy already had a network. He had, Revolt. Revolt was his. I believe now he's just like a portion owner. But Kanye Barris is another one that I've watched a lot of Kanye Barris TV. He's the guy behind Blackish, and then Grownish, and then Mixedish. He did the whole Ish family, and he did a show on Netflix that was based on his life. Kanye Barris is wildly talented, and I could absolutely his personality would be perfect to own BET. Tyler Perry, of course, owns a bunch of studios down in Atlanta. It would absolutely make sense for him to purchase a network like BET. Byron Allen already has owned networks of his own and been portion owner of other networks, and he has this late night TV network that airs on CBS or NBC, one of those main channels. These are all really good names to see in the mix to purchase BET and take it back to being black ownership.
Fair. I think that would be cool. I think it's preposterous a bunch of white people bought BET. It's just a preposterous thought. I digress. I don't know what else to say. Next topic is Beyonce.
Nah, you don't gotta click play on the video. We could just cover it. Beyonce just said something about I swarm with these hands, in a line while she was performing. I don't really think it's the shot that people are trying to make it out to be. People are trying to say she was dissing Childish Gambino. It's why would she diss Childish Gambino, bro? He didn't say anything offensive about her. The Swarm, the TV show that he made, was about how obsessive fans can be and how obsessive fans are with artists. So it's not really I don't see Beyonce being upset at Childish Gambino because her fans are a bunch of psychos. So we've gotten to that point in the show where we're nearing the end. We're going to get to the trailers in a second. This week's topic, I figured you're traveling to New York. We know you're coming here next week. I will see you. We should make plans. We're going to make plans after this call. We should link up Sunday. As soon as you get into town, right? Let's make the experience dope for this kid and have him eating good. Point being, do you enjoy traveling? And what's your favorite form of transportation?
I do not necessarily like flying. I can say that pretty clearly because you're kind of confined and you can't vape or smoke or shit. And I also have like really long flights in my life. So if I can avoid flying, it's dope. And the airport takes forever and you're just trapped inside the whole time. There's a lot of being in line when you're flying. So I like driving. Driving has become more of it. Maybe not like a bus, but like when you rent the whip and it's more road trip feels. That's the vibe for me because you get the freedom. And yes, it takes a little bit longer. But like, you know, the enhancements and quality of life improvements make it pretty dope, especially if you can blaze in the whip and shit like that. Like, it just makes it more fun. I think traveling is blessed.
Right.
I think it's like it's a mission for me to leave Montreal at least once a month this year because like I would, it's like a bug. You start going places and you just kind of itch
it's
for
like
it.
tattoos.
And like every time I've left Montreal, I feel like I've come back like more of a man is the way I would put it. Like it just taps you into something stronger than like when you left because like there's a confidence that goes into traveling and having these experiences that are completely different than what you would do back home, putting up the bread to actually go do it. And like it isn't like as much as it's accessible if you prepare for it for the most part. So like I enjoy the experience of just not being home, but then you really appreciate home differently because there's the parts you love more, the shit you miss and all that other stuff where like I don't think I really understood what I liked about Montreal until I started like seeing Toronto and New York City and other big cities to like have a real comparison point to it. So I think it's like an essential thing. If you want to be like a more cultured person or even have any sense of like life beyond your social media bubble, I think it's like a really important thing to do, even if it's to some place that's near where you live. You know, like maybe you can't go all the way to somewhere far, but make the effort to go
That's the
places
way it always should start.
and party there. Like even if your version of partying is sitting at the pub and eating nachos, go do that shit in another city so that you can see what the regular people are like and the regular vibes is like. It isn't just like go to the tourist traps, you know? Do some regular people shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Get out of your environment is, I think, the greater, you know, message that you're trying to send people.
And the easiest way for me to do that is traveling. And nobody knows you, so it's like a fucking surreal experience. Yeah. What about you?
I would say I definitely enjoy traveling. I do enjoy traveling. And my favorite mode of transportation is flying. Because I can travel great distances faster, right? And get to some fun on the other end. And also, I enjoy the experience of flying in the sense of like it being almost like different than everything. It's a little bit more luxurious, right? Like when you pay for like first class and like business class, like it's like, yo, you got space and it's almost like you got a little fort. You know what I mean? It's like you're a little kid and you got a little fort, you got your little area and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Fair.
I don't know. I enjoy it. But I enjoy all forms of transportation. So like I love getting on a train and getting in the quiet car because there's a quiet car on the Amtrak here in Northeast America, where like the car is like you're not allowed to like be on your phone. You're not allowed to be like loud. Period. You know, you can't be sitting next to somebody and just like, it's a quiet car. It's like the library. You know what I mean? But like I enjoy the quiet car because like, yo, this is like the shut the fuck up. You know, like shut the fuck up and enjoy your thing in quiet or fall asleep. One of the two. You know what I mean? But like shut the fuck up. And like I'm down for that, you know? Cause like then I don't gotta deal with people with their crying babies and shit, you know? Cause they can't be in the quiet car, you know? Gotta take your
Facts.
baby. Gotta get your baby the fuck out of here. You know? Gotta get your baby. You gotta pick it up. You gotta fucking bundle it up. You gotta get the fuck out of here with it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I like to buy a car on the train, and I love cars, yo. I love traveling, all forms of transportation. Because growing up, my father had like a van, and like the van is like one of those old school vans that like had a bed in the back and shit. I used to love that shit, yo. So like, I just love traveling. Period. I think the younger that you travel, the more it opens up your mind to the world and to like knowing that
Yeah,
there's like
that's an
a bigger,
interesting point.
like it's a bigger world than what you know locally and in your city or town or state or country. You know, like people tend to only know one thing and they don't like realize that there's a whole world of people out here, you know, and there's different experiences.
Facts. I mean, I remember being
Americans, we tend to think a lot
like I
of
remember just
like Americans, we tend to think a lot about like America's the world. Like, oh, this is
right.
happening in
Or no,
America
like, but
everywhere.
like, or it's like you live in your city, right? And you're in your city for like, most of my childhood is spent like what in the same kind of neighborhood, especially when you're young. Unless your parents are bringing you somewhere, like where are you going? You know, a 15-minute bicycle ride in any direction type thing. So like, you live in this concrete jungle vibe where like there's maybe some parks and shit, but like, then my dad would take us what I would call up north because you just drive north to the middle of nowhere, Quebec, and then it's just forests and woods and camping and all this other shit. And then like we'd go to farms and just crap that was like outside of Montreal, which was mad different. Yo, shout out Enigmatic for popping up. He's like, shit, for the last 20 years I've been in the same town pretty much. Ain't really traveled much. You should come to Montreal is all I'm saying. But like, yeah, so like when you see just that contrast, like there was this farm that was like a rehab that we would visit sometimes, and they had like you could go play with their chickens and shit, and like just seeing people living on a farm. When you come from an apartment in the middle of the city, you're like, the amount of space these motherfuckers have, you're just like, it's surreal. And then they're looking at you in the city like, yo, I could never do that. And you're looking at them like, I could never do that and shit. But you're right. Like, that shit opened up my mind to traveling, though, because from an early, young age, like single-digit years, I was being shown that, like, there's more to life than Montreal.
Right. Absolutely. That was the same thing that happened to me, right? And so, like, the more that you get out your environment, the more it opens up your mind. And, like, that had me at a young age focused more so on traveling than settling down and having children. I felt like because I wasn't going away to college, my obligation during those quote-unquote college years was to travel and see as much places as I possibly could and move places spontaneously and not be worried. My friends called me the roaming nomad, or like one group of friends called me a roaming nomad. It was really my homegirl Celine. Shouts out to Monkey. Shouts out to her whole family. Shouts out to Charlie. Shouts out to Bronson. So, but yeah, they call me the roaming nomad because like I would like always randomly come by and like I was always on the go and I would always like I had no problem like picking up and moving places and like that you should do that. You know what I mean? Like people shouldn't like that's what you should do when you're young. I mean, you should keep on doing it the older you get too. But like you should do it young. Hopefully you're born into a family that does that for you and your family takes you places if not like once a year then at least once in an eventful youth year, so that you get that mentality that the world is bigger than my neighborhood and my city and my town and there's a whole world out there beyond this, because a lot of people don't realize that.
Facts. So I asked ChatGPT the question because that's also something we're doing here. So give me a second and I'll share that. So I paid for ChatGPT over the last week, which now means that there's the old one and the new one. The old one's shittier. I had to ask it twice. And if you're ever asking ChatGPT a question like this, we've learned you have to make it role play. So it's role playing as an average person in North America. Its first answer was, I like everything. And then when I said pick one, it was like, I like driving best. No, I like flying best. In a more, it's cool because you get to see the world. Then I loaded up the newer one, and he decided to also, absolutely, I love traveling. It's such a blah, blah, blast. For my favorite form, it's driving, because I love the freedom of being able to go where I want, when I want. Plus, on road trips, you can enjoy scenery. And then it also appreciates flying because, you know, it's cool to look out the window and shit. So the robot picked driving and then flying as a number 2. And this is just based on the average North American's perception. I'm having a lot of fun with ChatGPT, learning how to use it better. It's so wild, bro. Anyway, that's a whole other topic.
ChatGPT. Shouts to AI taking over the world. All right, moving on.
Trailers, right?
We got 3 trailers this week. I mean, listen, you don't really got to air the first trailer. It's just the 20th anniversary of Old Boy, which is like, that's crazy that Old Boy is 20 years old now. Old Boy, you ever seen Old Boy, Holden?
No, but I know what it is. I have a lot of friends who watched it, and it was like one of those ones in the periphery of my life. Like, I worked at a video store.
I cannot believe you didn't watch it.
It did. Yeah, whatever. It happens.
Judging you.
It happens.
I am. All right.
We can rectify that. We'll watch Old Boy.
French Montana's got a documentary. It's documentary week. We're airing documentary trailers, folks.
All right, let's
gang. Press play on that shit, bro.
It's loading.
The Bronx in the building.
Fuck, it's too slow.
Oh.
All right, skip the ad.
Why don't I hear anything, Holden? You didn't optimize the sound for me, did you? You did something. Yeah, the volume's all the way up. I just don't hear it.
Oh, you don't hear it? Oh,
no.
I know what I did wrong. I went to the wrong window.
Yeah, I know what you did wrong too.
Which is just one part
we'll
of
fix
the
that now.
Network that they be purchasing.
And this is the no ads browser too.
Yeah, I'm about to put you on the story. See, I'm really from Africa.
Okay, we got this. One day, one of you can come do this for us, and that would be the best.
I came over here from Africa to the hood, and I started this rap thing. And I'm gonna take it to the top. This is history you're looking at.
Those are some big executive producer names.
America, as kids, they sell you the dream. They don't show you that behind those buildings, there's the nightmare part.
It's like gladiator school. You either prey or you're a predator.
All 4 of us had one room. It was the grind of all grinds. I was an immigrant with no papers. I can't go to college. I can't get a job.
My pop didn't like the way French was going, and he wanted to leave French. I just remember my mother working 2-3 jobs.
I walked in on my mother one time crying, praying. You don't want to see your mother like that. What other options you got? Hit the streets. We were all slang whatever we got to slang. Guns, coke, music.
As he was getting hotter in the streets, he turned into an artist.
Next thing you know, we hooked up, we got in the studio, and we was like brothers.
At this time, me and Max be running the city.
It was him and his people against like whoever. This young, untouchable mob boss from New York.
Music controls the streets. I just see 2 dudes on the corner.
He's like, yo, bro, I gotta come in and tell you something crazy. They just shot your brother. From that point on, I just seen his whole life shift.
That was the breaking point. I gotta stop and I gotta start building my empire for my family.
Yeah, thanks for the follow, Mailbox Spiders.
New York was in a drought. The South was taking over.
Shot caller came out.
It was one of the biggest records.
Everything he got, man, he earned it.
French Montana has been named the most streamed African-born artist.
Feeling like I'm fresh out boots. Imagine her being in the States alone. Imagine not seeing your brothers and sisters for 20-something years.
My brother locked up first. Chinks had just died. Max B got 75 years. I was in the worst place you could be at. I met these kids.
Way, bro.
It's
It's not about the notes you can hit or the raps that you could write. It's just people have to believe something about you.
When my father left, a part of me died. And I never looked back for that part.
This is history you're looking at.
Yeah,
Hold on, what's the date? 'Cause
coming soon.
Coming soon.
No
No
date.
actual date, enigmatic.
That's hard.
Yeah, I didn't answer the question because I didn't know the date, and I know that at the end of the trailer, it always usually gives like a date or like this, a coming soon.
Yeah. All right, I'll do the next trailer, but dead ass, that looks really good. Like a really good story.
That looks really good. French Montana. Shouts to the BX. You know what time it is. I fuck with Frenchie heavy. Bad boy again.
No, like
you know
when
what
I
I mean?
went when I went down to New York City for the first time, I spent the week with Flacko, and he drove around. I swear, I'd never heard French Montana as much in my life as I did it. And then he put on Hot 97, and they was playing French Montana too. It was like I didn't even know, but now I get it. So the next trailer is this one.
I sold myself on that stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Thousands of people screaming, Arnold, Arnold, Arnold. And when you visualize something very clearly, you believe that you 100% can get there. There was a lot of things they had to learn, obstacles that they had to overcome. You can get an injury, then all your athletic stuff is over. But the only thing that no one can take from you is your mind.
Arnold Schwarzenegger terminated his box office competition.
I was looking for another challenge. Politics. Let's get to work.
He had no staff, no real plan.
Makeup, please.
He blew up the political system.
There's problems and problems, but I want to do the things that everyone calls impossible.
I'll be back.
People will remember my successes, and they will also remember those failures. It was very tough on my marriage, on my relationship with the kids. I have caused enough pain for my family. I'm gonna have to live with it the rest of my life.
Why did you give up?
Well, because my vision didn't talk about giving up. My vision was climbing that mountain.
He's the guy who turns his boat towards the torpedo.
If you're always hungry, you're never really satisfied. No matter what it takes, work your ass off. Do it. Do it now.
June 7th.
That one has a date.
That one has a date.
Facts. Yeah. Man.
I thought it looked good.
That looks like a really, like, I wasn't sure, but then I watched the trailer because I saw it was announced, and I'm like, you know what? That dude really did do a whole lot of things that, like, in the same vein of you're more than a rapper or you're more than a this, like, he's like, yo, I'm bored being an actor.
He was more than a bodybuilder, apparently. You know what I mean? He ended up being an actor, a fucking politician, like, you know? And really, like, you know, like they were insinuating, he blew up the political process, and I guess thanks to Arnold is why we can say we got Trump. I mean, that's not necessarily true, right? Like, Ronald Reagan was also an actor turned politician, but I think it was a little bit different back then, you know? I think when Arnold did it, it might have been like a little bit more leaning towards what Trump has turned it into.
I mean, when Arnold did it, he absolutely walked in like a celebrity turning politics, and then I think he turned into like a pretty decent governor. I'm not mistaken. Like, I think he ended up doing okay. I didn't really follow his career, but shut up mailbox spiders, huh? I was watching the trailer, so I wasn't watching the chat.
Hey,
but
shout out to you, bro.
I see y'all like turning up over there. Yeah, we doing this stream pretty much every Friday around noon, and then other streams around the channel. So thank you for pulling up and being a part of it. On that note, I guess it's time for Song of the Week. Where you want to go first?
Yes.
Again?
Yeah.
I'll get that loaded up. And Song of the Week.
Really, what I'm promoting this week is like the playlist.
So you're like, I don't have a song.
Feel free to go to the Perspectives YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel. Besides the interviews, we have these playlists that are curated playlists with music from the artists, and the music that they talked about in their interview with us. What happened?
I said you should still pick a song.
What happened?
I said you should still pick a song.
No, I am gonna still pick a song. Go to the playlist. I'm gonna pick a song from the playlist. Go back.
It's yeah. Come on. Oh,
yeah, so you should
I
go check out the playlist. No, not there.
I know. We're back.
Go to, you know what? Go to Soundboy Burial.
Which one? Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
We are going to jump on sound. You cannot cross the border, cause we are clan body. You will come, we kill you already, and you and your followers, there is no form of...
Yeah, I appreciate that. Shout out Smith & Wesson.
Bye to a soundboy head. Ruben, I promote a nasty man, them off he dead. Giving him two dead to him chin. And then me, your friend, fake the funk, I put the junk to an end. Now who the rude boy want test the OG? I find his family to identify he. I bet you never thought I bust. Surprise, I'm a 45.
I hosted that one.
Test the champion sound, you're getting bucked down. Recognize the boot camp, click out of Bucktown. Gun thirsty little bastard, always blasted from the sex of chocolate of mother casting. You say you're number one wicked selector. I say you. Yeah, now wet ya. Keep the ball for a pull this your trigger. Cause you don't wanna test me when I'm tipsy off the liquor like the boat they call my girl. Got his feelings hurt. Showed his true colors, had to yank up his skirt. Now he's in misery. Trying to cop a plea. To him head from gun clapper number 3. See, lick off a shot, you know. Rider. Lick a shot and I run fire. Everybody wanna be down, gaga, all around the York. We be stalking. In the darks when the dog starts barking.
Yo, they're really good live. I had like the best time watching them perform.
They're definitely pros. Like veteran pros.
Sex me rough like the wicked youth in me. That other half that be bugging off the truth you see.
It was like 90 minutes too. Like they put on like a full ass show, you know?
Practice so active you won't get blasted by my 9 shot. Come around my block, find a nice spot in the pine box. Murderer, soundboy killer, frontally filler. We about to get iller. Soundboy, you got no.
You heard him shouting out the Fontally back then.
We about to bury. Better pack your dubs and move in.
Like there's not nothing new.
Looking at my pager, it's about that time to load up the line and do my daily crime. Warriors, conquerors, the man before ya. Mr. Ripper, aka the enemy killer. My man with the is my man indeed. And all your sucky ducky is catch knots with speed.
Some very alone with nothing done faithful. The same boat can move quick and rust. I know you ain't getting done with single. Some very alone with nothing done faithful. The same black cards scavenger rust. I know you ain't getting done. Lot of mercy. Some very alone with nothing done faithful. If you test me for West Rust, I know you ain't getting done with single.
Lots and boy gonna get dead tonight. Duke as I retrieve the 2-5 from my Tim boots. Target upon sight, trick upon cock. Adjust your pupil fools to see your dead boy walk. Nothing more going die this year. Here comes the boot camp, slide it to the rear. The rain coming like a hurricane, licking shots. More untouchable than with the chicken pox. Dreads and froze out to get the doughs like Bisquick. From now until Louisville still packs the biscuit. 99. Smith and Wesson OGC. It's the beast from the east and gun clapper number 3.
We bring the realness, feel this. Boom is black moon, reveal this. We come to let you know what the deal is. Straight up, we serve justice. So if you can't be trusted, may you return where the dust is.
Yeah, there's many songs that's going around and going on and going like a clown, but I'm telling you, clean up your work and come to the livestock, cause you are dead stuck from morning and now it's evening, everything's changed.
You know, sound boy dead, appeared up, lick off the med, for real. Smith and West alongside Flacko, Scavenger, my bride and Joe, for real. When we look and say, Lord have mercy, hey, 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 hey. Tell them fake come if I trouble them move on. Boy, we a go lick them with the finesse and charm. Tell them fake come if I trouble them alone. Take a look, go take a look in at the camp lyric smoke. Tell them fake come if I trouble them move on. Boy, we a go lick them with the finesse and charm. Tell them fake come if I trouble them alone. Take a look, go take a look in at the scavenger lyric book, cause every page full of style and full up of fashion. We don't believe in pirate material, my lyrics no Russian, they were the original prison and stuff.
Yeah, they're cool dudes. All I can say is when they got in the car, I still had the Smith & Wesson playing from before, and then just Steele basically rapped along to himself. He just loved it. Like, and I'm not saying it to be anything other than I love how much he loves his music. Like, that's some deep shit. And we're talking like 20 years later, loves it. Like he just made it.
Yeah.
And that's some passion where like it inspired
me.
me.
No, that's the way to be. You know what I mean? Definitely, for sure. You know? I can empathize with that level of passion for what you do. All right, you ready with your song, Ho Ho?
Absolutely. We're going into some other Montreal shit. This one doesn't have a video, but I just really love the song. And I met dude at the bar recently.
When I post up, little bitch, I got that big stick. Case them boy sliders, little bigger biscuits. There's no more born like this, I had to risk it. For them Jordan 506s, red balls, fucking on me, head throw. XOs, pass it to my little bros. Big stones, cherish shit, it's been a long day. Yo, keep that money coming in my forte. Fuck it, they know we gon' eat. Shaq like COD, keep that thing on me. Niggas be hating on me, see that they don't make a peep. You feel it so fucking elite. You niggas are rats, you squeak. Bitch, you a bitch, I'm elite. I'm popping like I little peep. We ain't taking no loss. Bet you up like boss. Hit it like not, pay up. I got that Glock cock spray in my house, get mocked up straight up. I bring the pain that's fatal up, make your biscuits. No, if you buck,
I like this.
Yeah, I met dude in the bar recently for the first time. I was like, oh, say word. And when I pulled this song on, like, this is the one I really like. He was really impressed that I picked this one, as though, like, people don't normally say it. But I'm like, this shit's so hard.
This shit hard. Sure.
He's the partner of Nate Husser from when they used to be in a group back in the day. And then they, like, split and went their own ways.
I don't know any of what you said, but yeah.
I played Nate Husser a couple weeks back.
This is dope, though. That's what's more important.
Then I scared like a kick flip. Get my Fendi up. My team eat like Denny's. Get under my skin, I wear him up. Fuck that bitch in her Fenty up. Niggas they jelly on me. I get so friendly to me.
There's a whole lot of Montreal that sound like this, though. There's a whole lot of us that are like good. Often it's just bridging the gap issues. But he doing alright. Like, this dude be touring all over. Like, his career's set, you know? Like, Yeah. Chris the Spirit, Biscuits. Honestly, I think it's a fire joint. It's a couple years old apparently, but
CC.
It's fire. I don't know
What
if
happened?
CC's still around. Is CC still around?
Oh,
I don't know.
I thought you were talking about that, Chris.
Oh no, this guy's name is Chris the Spirit, the artist of this particular joint. Chris the Spirit, and the Spirit has a $sign instead of an S. But yeah, he like Montreal. To me, like he's one of the dudes from Montreal that's really doing things. But because he's really doing things, he's not here no more as much. So nobody knows what he's really doing, and he never gets talked
that's the way
about
that
no
it
more.
works. If you're really doing something, then you gotta leave the fucking town.
And then we forget because apparently Montreal got, and like most local scenes, collectively small memory. If you're not in our face, we don't remember you very quickly. And I digress. People should know about the Montrealers doing big things to me.
Shouts to all the Montrealers doing big things. Shouts to the AAB playlist. That Soundboy Burial song was on that playlist. Go check it out on either on our Spotify page. Look us up on Spotify. Follow us on Spotify. We're dropping these playlists on Spotify. You can hear the audio, or you could do it on YouTube. Check out the whole playlist, and then at the end of the playlist is the interview. We got the playlist on Apple Music, but Apple Music doesn't allow you to put a podcast episode at the end of a playlist. So we're caught in catch-22 with that. We'll get Apple to switch up their mind.
Yeah, we'll just.
But yeah, go check those out. That Soundboy Burial song is on there. Other dope fucking songs are on there. I forgot. What are you doing this weekend?
Well, the next couple of days, today I'm gonna maybe find a show to go to, or maybe stay home and pack, because that has to happen at some point, you know. And then
stay home and pack, guy.
Saturday I do have to go out because Chris is performing, so we have like a joint track that we perform on each of our sets. So if his name's there, it means I'm there, and vice versa. So I have to go all the way to the far parts of the city to do that shit, and then dip early to make sure I get to bed early. And that all leads to Sunday, where me and my man's buds from Makeway Studio in Montreal, hop in the whip and drive our way south. It's going to take about 8 to 9 hours, depending, because the Tesla has electronic vehicle charging issues that take more time. And then we pull it up in New York City, and we spend the week out in New York City filming episodes of Perspectives and doing some dope shit. That's what's happening this weekend.
Right. I'm definitely partying tonight. Tomorrow I got to see Dama. I got to help her out. She's shooting some music videos over here in my neck of the woods, the Bronx. So her and I forget who else, but like she's gonna be out here shooting music videos. I'm gonna link up with her, and I'm not sure what I'm doing in the evening. And then Sunday you get into town. Whenever you get into town, we're gonna link up. We gotta go eat something.
Facts.
Does your boy eat fish? I hope he eats fish. Jesus Christ.
Usually
Holden
fish
doesn't eat
places
fish,
have
ladies and
non-fish
gentlemen.
items for those of us that are picky. Childish palate motherfuckers, okay? I'll own it, right? I have a childish palate.
Childish palate.
Chris is like, I like fish, Flacko.
See, my guy, CC, like, yeah, I fuck with seafood because he fuck with that good shit. He knows what time it is.
That's facts. And next time Chris can come down and get that good shit.
Word, yo. Chris fucking up. That's on him. CC,
Yeah.
It is on you. Like you, if you came, I'd
You
be
would've
able
got
to be
that
like,
shit.
yo, fuck. I'd be like, if you came and you were here, I'd be like, fuck Holden. Fuck what he wants to eat.
Fuck
right?
what Holden
This
wants.
is your first time in town, right? So if you eat
Chris is
seafood,
leveling
I
up.
eat seafood. Holden's outvoted, and we're going to eat some seafood and shit. You know what I mean?
And like
he
I
just
said,
gonna have to
seafood
find something on the
places,
menu that he likes. You know what
there
I'm
will
saying?
always
And
be
that's
chicken
just
on a
that.
seafood menu. And like every menu, there's that one
Always chicken.
item.
Always
Always
chicken
something
everywhere.
for us picky motherfuckers with childish palates.
Right. So the point being, you know what I mean? We could have gotten seafood, but you didn't come. Now I gotta gamble with this other person that Holden's coming with, right?
Shout out
What's
Buds.
homie's name? Who's gonna be with you?
Buds. B-U-D-Z.
That's his name,
Buds.
Buds.
Well, that's his stage
Buds,
name, Buds.
like Best Buds.
More like
Like Best
marijuana
Buds?
buds, like Anu Buds.
Marijuana Buds.
Buds.
Best Buds.
Yeah.
Those are still the best buds. Those
Facts.
aren't the best buds.
Yeah, Buds.
Okay,
yeah,
so
he's best Buds. So yeah, Buds is coming down with us.
Okay,
He's
Buds. Work. So Buds is coming with you. I hope Buds fucking like seafood. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm at the whimsy of hopes and dreams and waiting for him to arrive to ask him what his dietary restrictions are before we go eat. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm stuck with Holden's no fucking fish eating, no fucking oysters, no nothing good in life. You know what I mean? Just like fucking cows and fucking chickens and shit.
Yo, ducks is fire.
I took him to the fucking.
I like pork.
I took him to the Spanish spot. And I had to convince him to have pork. Like, bro.
No, you don't have to convince me to have pork. Chicken is fire. So chicken is just higher on the priority list than pork. But yo, I be fucking with pork. I mean, I also like duck. I'm a big duck fan.
Duck is wildfire. We need to have duck while you're here.
Cause like, there are things like I'm trying to expand. It's just, I don't know yet. I just cooked one for the first time the other day, and my mediocre duck job was still good to me. So I'm like, nah, I fuck with duck. I just don't know how to cook duck yet.
Yeah. All right. I'll take you somewhere. So yeah, we're gonna eat. We're gonna fucking have festivities. You're gonna be here next week. We're gonna do next week's episode live in person. Live. We're probably gonna go from Wild Devices. I'm gonna be like, let's just go. Like you put up on your phone, pull up Twitch, go live from Twitch.
Honestly, my dude has a we can figure it out.
On,
we'll figure it out.
Instagram and Facebook and everything all at the same time. You know what I mean? But like on multiple devices, and we'll just have a bunch of devices sitting in front of us while we're going live and shit. And we'll go live and we'll do it live.
It'll be a good time.
Lindell said no duck for him. No duck. My God, yo.
That's fair. You know, Bonnie's no duck too.
You want to fight?
Bonnie was like, no. That's partly why I never got duck before. Because every time I wanted to get duck, she's like, no duck.
Listen, you go up to Paulie's. You stay with the other Littyyy bro. You stay with Littyyy bro Paulie. Let me tell you something. He's gonna feed you some fucking deer heart if he just finished killing that deer. You know what I mean?
That shit,
and let me tell you something. If you don't eat it, you know what? If you don't eat it, you fucking missing out on life. Because that deer heart tasted like the goddamn best filet mignon I ever done had in my goddamn life. That shit was fucking
all I can say is
delicious.
I was faced with when I went to Pakistan, they brought me to a restaurant and busted out the goat brains. So I ate the goat brains because what am I gonna do? Not eat it? It was great. It was pretty great.
You gotta give things a chance, man. You gotta.
Like, if you think about it, it's a problem, but like, honestly, I would eat that deer heart faster than I would eat fish. Wouldn't even think twice about the deer heart.
So crazy to me. You're insane to me for that. But you know what? I'm not mad at you. I will forgive you for your sins.
I've eaten fish so many times in my life to not, you know.
Holden, please. I'm talking to the people about you, okay? Listen, you guys don't understand. I be dealing with shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, Holden is a whole, like, he makes himself seem like however he seems to you guys, but he's not an easy person to get along with, okay?
No.
So, like, I deal with a lot, you know? And then to also have to deal with, like, no fish is like... So, you know, hey. Yeah, Liddell, deer heart. Deer heart is delicious. They in the comments going crazy. Let me tell you something. You haven't had... The fresher the kill, the fresher you just finished killing the animal, the better the meat is gonna be, and the more like actually killed because they live a life out in the wilderness and in nature, the better the meat also is, and then also the better you are as a cook. So like if you're a shit cook, you know what I mean? Like the fresh kill's not gonna make you a better cook. You still need to know how to season food. You know what I mean? So like, you know,
One
but
day
like,
we're gonna
yeah,
do
yo,
that.
deer heart is delicious. It was fantastic. And it's actually customary when you kill a deer to eat its heart. You're like paying tribute to the animal. You know what I mean? Like it's not like It's not like it's like this is a thing that's like been culturally amongst the people that have been eating deer for millennia. You know what I mean? So yeah,
I
yo,
would pay
deer
that
are
respect.
very fucking yum, squirrely, yumptious. Literally like filet mignon, so very tender meat, like a very tender. We'll have some other shit. We'll find out what Buds likes, and we'll eat, we'll feast. It'll be a great week. Yo, everybody who came and tuned in this week, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
everyone. Thank
gang,
you so much
gang.
for pulling
Y'all know
up.
what time it is.
Appreciate
Shouts to
y'all being
Sarah.
lit in the chats. Honestly, that's really cool, y'all. Sarah
Shouts
kind
to
of
Lindell. Shouts
mailbox
to
spiders,
Shouts to
enigmatic
Mailbox
electronic.
Spiders. Mailbox Spiders
Chris
is a
Crum.
crazy name, son.
It is a good spider. It is a good name. Shout out. And there was
CC.
somebody else, KG something, or I think it was Mike Tyson was the name I saw. Anyway, somebody else came through. Shout out them as well. Anyone on Facebook, we missed that. Shout out all of you who watch this in the future on YouTube, or if you see a clip or whatever. Appreciate y'all. Patreon.com/perspectives is a great way to support the whole journey and make sure that, you know, you give love in a more fiscal way. And we appreciate
Our
you.
IG has a link to all that.
And we appreciate you greatly. And on that note, shout out 808 Diffraction popping up as a first-time chat at the very last second here. We appreciate. Honestly, it's meaningful. Right at the end. Make sure to follow all that good stuff. And now we're gonna just
go back to the beginning.
Facts.
We're ending, so that means you could go back to the beginning and not have to. You know what I mean?
The VOD is gonna be right there in a couple of minutes. But appreciate everyone for real though, and live long and prosper, everyone.
You could have not been here.
And now we're doing the raid. No, we really do appreciate it.
We appreciate the people in the future too. So we appreciate you when you watch it back. So like, hey, we appreciate you both.
I'll say words. Shout out 808 Diffraction for the followage. I don't know, and I missed that, but appreciate you for real. Boom, rating. Appreciate the lurking. Say hi to Preach.